Yo, 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 yo. What's going on, everybody? Make sure you guys hit that like button for me. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. Also, get in the chat. Let me know who all's in here. Now, normally I don't. Normally I would do these shows on Sunday, but since we streamed the Florida Gators versus Eastern Washington game yesterday, I decided to move the show from Sunday to Monday night. So we're gonna break down basically what happened over the weekend. A lot of stuff happened in college football. You know, a lot of upsets, a lot of interesting matchups. The top 25 get shaken up a little bit. Um, we also had some teams that was in the top 25 for like a whole 5 minutes. It didn't last too long in there. Ain't gonna say no names. Florida State. We also got some teams that moved their games. The Florida Gators, they moved their game from Saturday to Sunday due to Hurricane Ian. I was gonna say Ivan. I don't know why, but it was an eventful weekend, guys. Eventful weekend, college football. So, of course, every Sunday we talk about the games that happened in the week before, and then we kind of pick the games. Pick the winners, look at the spreads and everything like that to see what's gonna be, going on in week 6. So, interesting week. Like I said, a lot of interesting matchups, a lot of near upsets. Georgia Bulldogs nearly lost to Missouri. Um, Alabama roll like usual, pun intended. What else was? Couple key matchups. Jimbo Fisher, he's still delusional. So with all that being said, y'all got guys, make sure you hit the like button, get in the chat, We're gonna talk about all these matchups. So let's start with the teams in the top 25. As you guys can see, the results are in. Um, we are going to talk about the Miami Hurricanes also. The Miami Hurricanes this week will take on North Carolina. So the Tar Heels are coming to town. Now, unfortunately for us, the last time they was in Miami, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. We lost by a lot. The score was like 63 to 6. Something that us Hurricane fans do not want to relive. But nonetheless, they're coming this week. Mario Cristobal versus Mac Brown. No more Manny Diaz. So we'll see how this, goes. A lot of Hurricane fans right now don't have too much. What's the word for it? They don't have too much hype, too much optimistic. They're not. They're kind of defeated right now, and rightfully so. But coming off that loss to Middle Tennessee and going into a bye week, so you had to sit on that loss for a minute. Tyler Van Dyke getting pulled for Jake Garcia and stuff and so forth, whatever. So this morning, Miami's head coach Mario Cristobal basically was on the Joe Rose show, and a couple of the key questions that all you guys was wondering and asking was answered. Tyler Van Dyke will be starting against North Carolina. Now I know some of the fans was hoping that it would be Jake Garcia, but Mario Cristobal basically said that after a bad game you can't just abandon your quarterback. As you guys know, Tyler Van Dyke last season put up some incredible numbers and was considered one of the best quarterbacks in the country, not just the ACC, but in the country. Was also getting Heisman, hopes and all that good stuff. So, yeah. So basically, Jay Garcia is, he's ready to go. He's good to go. Jay Garcia, to me, he's a very adaptable quarterback. So if anything were to happen and Tyler don't look stellar and Jay Garcia comes in, then we know we're in good hands also. So this week, Miami Hurricanes at home versus North Carolina Tar Heels. 4:00 game. That's a 4:00 game. Now TV wise, let me see what that's going to be on for the TV wise. If I'm not mistaken, that should be on the ACC network, but I'll double check for you guys just to make sure. So let's see what while I'm waiting on some of this to load. Guys, get in the chat. Let me know who all is in here. Get in the chat. Say what's up. Say something. So I know all in here. Hurricane Millie, what's going on with you? Don, what's going on with you? Wake Forest. Wake Forest would have put up 90 on Miami. Yeah, I don't believe that. You don't believe that. Stop lying to yourself. Mike Williams, what's going on with you? Canes Dolphins 1989, what's good with you? Demetrius, what's going on, boss? How you doing? All right, so let's see the Miami game. So that's on ESPN2. ESPN2. So we'll be playing on ESPN2, 4 o'clock. Let's see what they got to say really about this game. T-Rock, what's going on with your boss? All right, so we are at home. We are the favorite according to ESPN. Now, North Carolina comes in here at 4-1. Miami sitting at 2-2, coming off 2 losses back to back. Texas A&M and then Middle Tennessee. They won the first 2 games, Bethune-Cookman and Southern Miss. Now, the big talk of the town, North Carolina's quarterback, Drake May. This dude is putting up stellar numbers, guys. He's getting his groove. So hopefully, some of the mistakes that we've been seeing with our corners and our DBs and coverage and stuff like that, hopefully we don't have those miscues this week. Just a second, guys. All right, so, running back wise, Henry Parrish, I'm not quite sure the stats on Henry Parrish or Knighton. If we're going to play it safe, I'm going to guessing they're going to be out. But as of right now, there's no updates on Henry Parrish. There's no updates on Jalen Knighton. We do know that Thad Franklin and Lucius Stanley, the transfer, got some name drops this morning on the Joe Rose show from Mario Cristobal. So there's no indication on whether Jalen Knighton or Henry Parrish will be available, but we do know those other guys was named. Anybody wants to join the chat, of course, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. So anybody wants to come on, I see Jordan Bowman in the building. Anybody wants to come on, you can. The link is in the chat. So here you have. We're just gonna take a look at their running back, Omarion Hampton or whatever. 293 yards for 5 touchdowns off 53 carries. That's what their running back is doing right now. Also, we can't really look at our receivers' numbers. Restrepo is the receiver, but Restrepo is basically injured. Probably won't be back for another, I want to say, a couple of weeks. So, we don't have Restrepo there. So everything right now, stat-wise, other than running the ball, is favoring, North Carolina, but that's just stats. You got to look at also they've played one more game than we have, and they also played a couple lesser opponents too. So it is what it is. Jordan Bowman, what's going on with your boss?
What's up? Feels good to be good. That's all I'm gonna say.
I know exactly what you're talking about. We're gonna get into it in a little bit. Chris Smith, what's going on? I don't think I've seen you in here before. Chris Smith, what's going on? He said go FSU. So he's an FSU fan. Jared Verse is a B. Surprised he didn't get recruited by a Fibs team.
FBS probably trying to say. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, Fibs? Who's Fibs? Anyways, so yeah, coming into this game, man, the over and under right now, Miami's a 4-point favorite, and over and under is 66 points. So
it's gonna be a shootout.
This game, I'm not touching this game. I'm not betting on this game because I tend to bet with my heart, and then stuff happens. So I'm gonna stay away from this one. Coming into the game, points per game. North Carolina, like I said, they're doing their thing. They're putting up numbers, but they got 45 and call it 45.5 points per game. Miami's coming in at 35. Points allowed, they're allowing 33.6. Miami is allowing 20.5. So points per game, they're better. Points allowed, we're better. Total yards per game, they got us in that department, 507. Miami has 448 points. Not points. Passing yards. They have 319. They're averaging 319. Miami's averaging 270. Rushing the ball, they're also averaging 187. Miami's averaging 178. So they got us in both passing and rushing yards. Now, allowed, they're giving up 450 yards per game. Miami's giving up 336. So we're like 100 less. We give up 100 less yards than they do. Passing wise, they give up 270. I'm at 257. We give up about 251. Rushing, they give up about 193. We're giving up 85. So I can see why we're the favorites in this game. This might come down to who can basically have the better defense, because offensively, we know North Carolina can put up points. Now, hopefully none of our none of our corners don't get beat, because it ain't been pretty for us, in the last couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, because UNC's defense is absolutely terrible, and Miami's had their issues offensively this year, so it's going to be who something's got to give there. So
yeah, so the only loss that North Carolina has at the moment is Notre Dame. They lost to them 45-32. They beat Virginia Tech over the weekend, 41-10. Georgia State, they beat them by 7, 35-28, and then App State, they was in a shootout with 63-61. App State kind of bit themselves, and FAMU went into that game down like 29 players, stuck to them. So North Carolina is not unbeatable, but Miami's not looking so hot right now either. So in my opinion, this game could go either way, but the fan in me says Miami's going to win, but we'll see how it goes. Game is supposed to be at 86 degrees. So, yeah, Hard Rock, home game for Miami. Make sure y'all go out there and put your butts in the seats. Let me see if we got a – did they give a ticket price? Okay, so tickets as low as $11, guys, is $11. So there's no excuse right now why you can't get a ticket to that game and go watch the game. It's dirt cheap. $11 for as low as $11. So, yeah, Miami versus North Carolina. As long as we can contain Drake May, I think we'll be fine. If TVD comes out and does good, then we'll see him, keep on going and doing what he do. And if not, then it'll be the start of the Jake Garcia era.
Yep. So it's looking like, so TVD is looking like he's going to be the starter this week.
Yeah, TVD is going to start.
Okay.
Of course, Mario Cristobal's not sugarcoating anything. If he goes out there and he looks absolutely terrible, they're going to pull him. So tonight's show, guys, I'm not going to take up too much time. I'm going to run through the games, the ones that I did see, some of the, crazy stuff that happened, and, we'll talk about the predictions for next week. But tonight there is a Monday Night Football game, my LA Rams versus the 49ers. They suck. Yeah. So let's get into it. Over the weekend, college football recap. Let's see. Scores. Also, guys, let me know in the chat who you guys taking. I know there's a poll in the chat right now. Who will win, Miami or North Carolina? Who you guys taking in this game, Miami or North Carolina? Let me know. Put it in the chat. Miami versus North Carolina. Who y'all picking to win this game? And if you want to go the extra mile, you can also put a score prediction in there. Also, guys, we have 32 people watching. Make sure you guys hit the like button for me. Hit the like button. Alakazam, what's going on, boss?
What's going on with everybody? How's everybody doing?
All right, all right. So I got 2 Clemson fans on the panel with me.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Thursday night kicked it off. Top 25 matchup. BYU takes on Utah State, beat them 38-6. Nothing to see there. You know, nobody really cares about that matchup. All right, so basically, a lot of you guys are saying North Carolina, but most of the guys I see in the chat are, you know, fans of other teams. So we'll see. Miami fans, they're kind of on the ropes of this one. I can't even lie. From what I've been seeing in the comment section of most of the videos and stuff, a lot of them's on the rope. They don't see where the winds are coming from or, you know, anything like that. They're on the downside right now after the Middle Tennessee thing. But BYU handled business, improved to 4-1. We'll move on from that. Upset. Friday
I was
night.
surprised about that. I was really shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've seen some replays and I've seen some, you know, the highlights and stuff like that from the UCLA Washington game. You know, Washington came in their ranked 4-0. Both teams was 4-0. UCLA with the win. They ran away with it. The score says 40-32, but it was not that close.
Right.
It really wasn't. UCLA literally could have had anything they wanted in that game. What are you guys' thoughts on that game?
I mean, DTR is their UCLA's quarterback. He played great. You know, he's it feels like he's been in college since like 2010, but yeah, he looked good. He ran the ball well. He was throwing it all over the place. UCLA really, I mean, that UCLA was, you know, blowing Washington off the line. They look good. So.
What about you, Alakazam? What did you see in that game?
Oh, I didn't watch the game. Okay. Yeah, I didn't watch. I didn't know UCLA was about 4-0 when they went into the game, but I thought Washington was going to blow them out.
All right. So Don says, if I had to put money down, I'm going to put it on North Carolina. Miami has a lot to prove. Hey. Kane's Life, he says 45-38 Hurricanes.
I can see that.
If I'm picking us, I'm not giving us that many points. Our offense haven't showed me that, you know, they could put up like 45 on anybody, to be honest with you. If we do win, I think it would be a lower score than that.
I mean, you're probably right, but UNC's defense is horrible. Anybody can score on them.
Yeah.
It's that Virginia Tech. I mean, Virginia Tech couldn't score on them, but Virginia Tech's defense ain't as bad as. I'm sorry, is way worse than Miami's. It's not even close. Miami's gonna score in this game.
Yeah, that's a good question, Mike. Who is going to cover Josh Downs? That's a good question.
Yeah, there ain't nobody in the secondary right now that can cover him.
Yeah.
So if they don't give anybody basically. If the safeties don't give them corners help, we're gonna be screwed.
Is Tyreek healthy? Maybe you put it. You know, that's
another
tough.
question too.
Yeah.
As of lately, since Mario's came in there, we don't really get injury reports like when Manny was in there. Manny would just tell you every single thing. Even today, listening to Kevin Steele and talking about, you know, Drake Mayo and what they're gonna do to, you know, cover him and all the other stuff. He didn't even give the game plan. He was like, he's not doing that. He's not telling them nothing. He just basically said that straight up.
Yep.
I'm not telling y'all the game plan. I'm not giving no heads up, no nothing. So this staff is more conservative with the information, rightfully so. You don't want to give your opponent a heads up. Okay, well, they're planning on spying, or they're planning on doing this, or they're planning on doing that. So let's, you know, get adjusted to it now. Let them have to come in and make those adjustments at halftime and have our adjustments ready. But total surprise going into that game.
Yeah.
Here's a good one to talk about. Georgia survives Missouri. Missouri sitting at 2-3 after that loss. Georgia improves to 5-0. Georgia wins that game at the final, like in the fourth quarter, or whatever. They went on to win 26-22. Struggle game for Georgia. They trailed pretty much damn near the whole game. At one point, Missouri was up at least double digits. They end up blowing that game, but Georgia couldn't run the ball,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. Not what
Mhm.
you normally see from Georgia, because normally they move the ball on the ground pretty well. Over the past couple of years, they've had good running backs,
Mhm.
but this year, I guess they're gonna have to depend on Stetson Bennett just a little bit more than normal. And that defense. Well, Georgia's defense is Georgia's defense. It's still gonna, be good. Just had some missed moves here and there. Were you guys surprised at this game and how it turned out?
Well,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, Missouri's bad. Yeah, but they did a good job. Like Missouri's defensive front, like they whooped up on Georgia's offensive line all night. Um,
hmm
that was really surprising. They were really aggressive. Just watching that game, um, and it took a lot. If Missouri was able to finish drives on offense, they would have won the game. But they had to keep settling for field goals. That kicker they got was going crazy. He hit I think he hit like 5 field goals, and like 3 of them were like from 50 plus. Um, so yeah, I mean, if Missouri was able to get the ball into the end zone on like one of those drives, the game's probably different, and Missouri probably wins. But Georgia, they went down early, and they just had to they clawed back in it. And it's another struggle win. That's back to back weeks that they haven't looked that great.
Yeah, the week before, Kent State kind of stuck it to them also.
Yeah.
Just didn't have the firepower or the manpower to pull it off. Missouri came pretty close, so I'm gonna keep an eye out on the Georgia Bulldogs. I don't think they're who everybody think they are. Now they did drop one place in the rankings. Let's just see if they could come out next week and change the course of this downfall that they're headed into. But nonetheless, we'll also talk about who they play next week once we get into week 6. But Alabama, top 25 matchup. Number 2 Alabama versus number 20 Arkansas. Alabama 49-26. Now in this game, Bryce Young, from what I'm hearing, he did get injured. Not sure
Mhm.
the extent of that injury, how long he'll be out. But the backup didn't look like a backup. Looked like he could damn near be a starter anywhere. Alabama win convincingly.
yeah. I don't
Now,
think nobody's beating Alabama this year. I just don't. I just don't see it.
now what I did see from Alabama is that basically they got backups that could be starters. That's basically it. The rich, they're the rich. They're the Jones. They're the ones that you got to keep up with.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
it kind of
Arkansas.
got close in the middle of that game. It was when Bryce Young went down, Arkansas came back. I think it was like 28-23 at one point, but then uh, their backup quarterback Jalen Milroe, he had like a really long touchdown run, and that kind of that helped them pull away. But it was a good job by Alabama. Milroe looks good. They ran the ball. Jahmyr Gibbs had like 200 rushing yards in that game, so
Yeah, Jameer Gibbs is good.
yeah, he's real good.
Yeah,
So that's a good win for Bama.
I've been hearing a lot of hype around Arkansas all off season, especially coming from the Late Kick Show with Josh Pate. He's been hyping them up all year, all off season. They're the team to look out for. Now Arkansas, of course, lost back-to-back games. Last week they lost to Texas A&M, who we're going to talk about in a little bit. Also, Texas A&M getting their tail whooped, and Jimbo Fisher's in la delusion land. So Ohio State versus Rutgers, 49-10. Ohio State cruises once again. It's Ohio
Yeah,
State at this
yeah,
point. It's Ohio State. That's all you can say.
yeah.
They're
I don't see
points.
nobody beating them in their division either this year. They go undefeated.
They're putting up points. They're handling business. Probably the best quarterback to wide
Yeah,
receiver core in the country.
yeah. All their wide receivers are 5 stars, number one in their position, number one or number four in their position, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see who can knock off Ohio State this year if
Yeah.
they do. Uh, Peanut in the building. Peanut, what's going on with you? Arkansas got their shit pushed in. Yeah, Peanut, y'all did that. Got to give it to you. I got to give it to you, Peanut, man. Y'all did that. Can't hate you for that one, Peanut.
Peanut Rope, you better stop letting Uncle Luke bully you. Stop letting him bully you, man.
All right, so Michigan, number 4 team in the country, improves to 5-0 and 2-0 in Big Ten play. 27-14 against Iowa. Now this game was on upset alert. I don't know why, but Michigan pulls it off with a 13-point win, 27-14. Did any of you guys, catch that game or caught any highlights from it, or what's your thoughts on that one?
I saw the highlights after. I mean, that game played out, two really good defenses. Iowa has no offense, and, Michigan, they took care of business. I mean, they didn't, blow them out, but, they were never going, they were never in, doubt of losing that game. They were up 20-0 at one point. So, and they just coasted to the end.
Yeah.
All right, so the one that we've been waiting for. Now, game day was at Clemson. Number 5 team in the country, Clemson, 5-0, 3-0 in ACC play, knocking off both Wake Forest and North Carolina State, both supposed to be the challenge on the Atlantic side. They have already handled those, so I could see Clemson cruising right into the ACC championship game. Now, North Carolina State came into this game with a lot of hype. They did beat Clemson last year. They was trying to basically end Clemson's I want to say ACC home game streak that they got going on. That I think they tied Florida State, if not passed them.
Yeah, we tied them.
Now, game day, I watched that game day at Clemson, and I'm not quite sure the D tackle's name at the moment, but his sister passed away from cancer.
Yeah, Brian Brzee. Yeah.
Literally, watching that literally had me choked up a little bit because she was only a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
And, that's devastating. Stuff like that, like literally, that kind of story touched the heart.
Yeah, that was a hard one to watch. They did a good job.
Yeah, it was very, very emotional. But shout out to Dabo Sweeney and the whole Clemson staff, the whole Clemson community, the whole Clemson team, everybody that stuck by that kid and his family. That was a great, inspiring story. To all the guys that's out there that make football movies and all that kind of crap, this might be one to be considered. But anyways, Clemson on the field went out there. Now the score says 30-20, but it was more abusive on Clemson sides. Now I must say, DJ Ukulele, or however you want to say his name, went out there and handled business. He actually looked like a quarterback. I can actually say that he's made improvements. He's looking better than he did. He had a bump.
Well, I've been saying for 4 weeks. It took you all this long to realize it. I've been saying it forever.
Yep, I'll admit I was wrong.
Yeah,
So,
and you can't make the excuse that he was playing Wake Forest defense. Now, NC State has one of the best defenses in the country.
Shout out to Dabo Sweeney for actually sticking by the kid when everybody was basically,
Yeah, true. Yeah.
saying go ahead and put the backup in. He's done. He's not gonna be this, not gonna be that. All the kid has done is put in the work, lost the weight. Now he's looking like a quarterback. Let's just hope he continues that, and see where it goes from there. But anyways, Clemson running back Sharp, is it Shipley?
Shipley. Yeah,
that kid is a total freaking monster. He's a monster. He's gonna be a problem every single week.
He's a first-round draft pick, just straight up.
If they drafted running backs first round, yeah, he's great.
So, what did you see from NC State in that game? notable?
Well, I thought, defensively, NC State has a good defense. So like it was, we knew going in it was going to be a challenge, but, and they didn't play bad. Like they got some stops against Clemson, and, they got some tackles for loss, but they weren't, but I think the biggest thing was that Clemson was able to, they didn't allow any sacks in that game. They gave DJ time to throw, and that was, and that was the difference. But NC State, I still think they're a good team. That their offense, they got a lot to work on. I think their quarterback's good, but they don't have any really notable wide receivers, so that their passing game is kind of mid, and I think they have like one really good running back.
Mm-hmm.
So and they didn't really give him the ball, but NC State is still one of the best teams in the conference. They're a flawed team.
What was DJ's number in that game? And what was Larry's, if you know off the top of your head?
Off the top, I think DJ didn't like light up the score. He was like 21 of 30 for like 210 and a touchdown, and then he ran for like 80 yards and 2 scores. It was something like that. But it was an efficient night for DJ. He did what he had to do, and he ran the offense pretty well. So it was a good win against a team that beat us last year. That this is the game we had circled all off season, because that was the loss I hated the most from last year. I like losing to Georgia. It was what it was, and I didn't really care. When we lost to Pitt, I knew this team, our team, the team wasn't that good, so it didn't really hurt. But that NC State loss was that was the one that stuck with me the most from last year. So it felt good to get some revenge.
Yeah. All right. So Arizona State versus USC, 42-25. Now, obviously, Caleb Williams looked great. 3 passing touchdowns. The offense is clicking over there. There's not much to say. USC is pretty much doing great. Lincoln Riley went over there and just turned the program upside down. He brought a quarterback with him. He took one of the best receivers from Pitt, and some good pieces was already over there also. So they're having early success right now, number 6 in the country, 3-0 in Pac-12 play and 5-0 as a whole.
Yeah, I'm gonna need them to play Utah first before I make my final decision. But USC's looking good this year.
Now, I also saw a shocking video from a former Miami Hurricane that goes by the name of Nesta Silvera, or like we like to call him, Nasty Nesta. And you'll definitely see why they call him Nasty Nesta, because the quarterback there, Caleb Williams, scores, of course, and goes over into the sideline. And what does Silvera do? He squirts Gatorade or water, whatever's in the bottle, in the quarterback's face.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I didn't realize that was Nesta.
Yeah, that's Nesta, transferred from Miami to Arizona State. Now, that's not anything that Miami, condone or anything like that. That's just Nesta being Nesta. So it was kind of funny to see. I've seen a lot of jokes on Twitter about it. Nesta goes to Arizona State and started doing the G and the P.
Well, the way they've been talking about Arizona State lately, I think that fits their culture. Him squirting the water in his face like that.
Yeah, somebody said it was like GP. If you know what GP, if you don't know what GP means, this is a derogatory term that I probably don't want to say on YouTube. But it's something that your kid probably watch in the bathroom with some lotion. But you wouldn't want your kid to watch that kind of content. If you get what I'm saying. Because another man squirting.
Moving on.
Yeah, another man squirting stuff in another man's face. You get the point. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Keep it on.
All right. So top 15 matchup. Number 7 Kentucky takes on Ole Miss, and this one was a nail biter, folks. This one came down to the absolute end. You got 22 for Ole Miss and 19 for Kentucky. Lane train continues now 5-0, 1-0 in SEC play. Lane train, as you know, 10 wins last season, first time in school history for Ole Miss, and the success continues. Now, low-scoring game. A lot of people was thinking that this was going to be more of a high-scoring game, but I must say, are you not entertained watching this game? If you watch this game, were you not entertained?
That was a great game.
Yeah.
Kentucky almost, they almost pulled it off, and then that sack fumble.
Yeah, strip
that
sack.
cost them after the false start.
That's brutal.
Or it wasn't fault. Was it a false start or illegal motion? It was something like that.
Yeah,
On the goal line that put that pushed Kentucky back, and then Will Levis got sacked, and Ole Miss won the game. That was a good game.
Oh man, Quay, what's going on, boss? Yeah, you a little bit late, Quay, but we talked about your Ohio State Buckeyes a little bit ago. Oklahoma State took on Baylor, number 16 team in the country, goes down again, 36-25.
This game went kind of exactly how I thought it would.
Oklahoma State wins to stay perfect, while Baylor picks up their second loss on the season. Now, in the third quarter, Baylor did gain some momentum, scoring 22 points, and then just couldn't, continue the pace, just couldn't keep up. They went down a little bit too much too early, and, they fought back, but just not quite enough. Penn State improved to 5-0, beating Northwestern 17-7. Low-scoring game after the pretty much almost no points. 10 points were scored in the second half. Manny Diaz's defense up at Penn State is continuing to work. It didn't quite work out that way in Miami, but, a lot of fans would say that this is, Penn State's players. Not Manny Diaz just basically inherited good talent, but can't hate on Manny, guys. Got to give him some credit. That Penn State defense is getting it done. They're 5-0.
Mm-hmm.
Give them some credit.
Yep.
Also, moving on from that one, Utah with the 42-16 win over Oregon State, improved to 4-1, 2-0 in Pac-12. As you guys know, they're the Pac-12 champions of last year, defending champions. Beat Oregon twice, And speaking of Oregon, they also played yesterday, 45-27. They beat Stanford, improving to 4-1, 2-0 in conference. First year coach Dan, what's his name? Dan Lennon from Georgia, former Georgia defensive coordinator, over there having a little success. That first game played against Georgia, got mollywopped and won 4 straight after that. So you might see a matchup between Utah and Oregon again for the Pac-12 championship, unless USC has something to say about that. So Texas A&M versus Mississippi State. Mississippi State 42, Texas A&M 24. Jimbo Fisher calling the play.
Trash.
Obviously, he's delusional. Obviously, there's no accountability when it comes to that guy.
Send him back to Florida State.
It's obvious that no matter how many top classes he get, he will always take L's because his offense is outdated, in my opinion. But Jimbo Fisher, man, Texas A&M is who we thought Texas A&M was. They'll forever be a 4-loss team. Who will they lose to next? Alabama, of course. Who else do you think Texas A&M is going to lose to? I definitely think they're going to lose to Ole Miss. And
I almost want to say Auburn pulls some bullshit, but I think it'll be Ole Miss.
All right.
Who else they got to play? they could at LSU.
Yeah, at this point, I think they could possibly lose around 5 to 6 games. To be honest with you, there might be
that game could go into 7 overtimes again with Texas A&M and LSU.
All right, so here's a blowout. 55-24, TCU rolls over Oklahoma. Oklahoma is now 3-2 on the season, also back-to-back losses. Both Big 12 losses, and next week they'll play Texas in the Red River Shootout.
Poor Brent Venables.
I'm disappointed in TCU. They should have scored at least some points in the fourth quarter.
That was pity. They felt bad. They knew they could do it. Yeah, that was tough. I've never seen a defense look that bad. TCU's
Lincoln Riley wasn't even that bad.
Yeah, and it was funny. TCU's offensive coordinator is Lincoln Riley's brother. So
that was a tough loss.
Read him like a book.
TCU improves to 4-0, their first win in Big 12 action. Man, tough. Now, here's Minnesota getting exposed. They came into this game all hyped. We all thought Minnesota was, on there, come in there and just get a win and keep it moving. But nope, Purdue say not so fast, my friend. Beat them 20-10. Was absolutely what's the word? I don't want to say the R word, but they were literally doing that almost the whole game.
I mean, I actually expected it from Purdue. They always do this to a ranked team.
Yeah. Minnesota was playing without Mo Ibrahim, so it's clear that offense ain't really the same without him. Like if he's not running the ball, like they can't move the ball because Tanner Morgan, their quarterback, has looked good, but I was with Mo Ibrahim or Ibrahim, however you pronounce his last name. Running the ball, and without him, he threw like 3 picks or something in that game, and Purdue basically just dominated them.
All right, so ranked for the first time this year, the Florida State Seminoles coming into this game at number 23 in the country. They was 4-0 versus Wake Forest, number 22 team in the country, and Florida State got whooped. Boy, did I enjoy watching this game.
Imagine not having 5 wins yet.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's tough.
That is tough.
Did I enjoy watching this game? At one point, Wake Forest was up 28-7. And I'm like, oh, they're going to make it rain. They're going to drop 60 on them. Come on, Wake Forest. Come on. And then they just stalled. Their offense stalled out. Mike Norvell and Adam Fuller started piling it up on defense, And then next, Wake Forest only scored 3 more points. Now, Florida State, on the other hand, couldn't put together no offense to really, put up any points. So Wake Forest comes into Doak Cam Stable and wins by 10 points. Now, Florida State was a 7-point favorite in this one. So not only did Wake cover, they also
they reverse covered.
They came in there after all of the controversy between head coaches about playing at whose stadium, the Hurricane. Can Florida State actually feed them if the Hurricane were to swing that way? All that good stuff. Wake Forest, Florida State was saying that Wake Forest was scared to play them at home, play them on the road, and came in there and showed them, we'll handle business. Florida State fans are saying, damn, are we going to make losing to Wake Forest like a yearly thing now? Because
that's 3 in a row they've lost to them now.
Yep.
It's a losing streak now.
Now, here's something interesting, Florida State fans. Y'all were telling us y'all was the only ranked team in the state of Florida. But guess what? Now you're not. No, you're not. Welcome to the party with the Florida Gators and the Miami Hurricanes. Outside of the top 25, there's probably a mansion somewhere in Orlando, Florida, probably right next door to Disney or something. We all can party outside of the top 25 now. But anyways, upset alert. Georgia Tech beats Pitt 26-21. Now, I must admit to you guys, this is actually my first time seeing this.
Oh, you didn't know about this?
I realized Georgia Tech beat Pitt.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
As soon as they fired Jeff Collins, they turned into a
Jeff
real
Collins was
team.
the problem.
Yeah.
It wasn't them abandoning the triple option. It was Jeff Collins.
To my surprise, I'm thinking that once Georgia Tech fired this head coach, they're just gonna get beat down for the rest of the year. And of course, here comes Pitt proving me wrong.
Man, the Coastal sucks.
Could go bowling.
So Pitt takes their first loss, and that just made it more interesting for Miami in the Coastal. Because if Miami could go out this week and then beat North Carolina, and if North Carolina could take out Pitt, which probably seems like it's probably possible now, man, the ACC Coastal might be up for grabs, like they say. Now, Miami is still the odds-on favorite to win the Coastal. After losing to Middle Tennessee, we still are the favorite to win the Coastal. So that's still interesting.
I mean, that's sad.
It is
pretty sad.
The Coastal is terrible, man. Like that's so disappointing. I wish.
Yeah, the favorite to win the division lost to Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, it's tough looks out there right now. I mean, the best teams in the ACC are all in one division.
I mean, it just proves that Conference USA is better than the ACC. But yeah.
The Conference it's better than the ACC Coastal, that's for sure.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
And it's definitely going to be better than the ACC next year.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, I can't even defend y'all. What are y'all doing? Like Pitt is out here losing to Georgia Tech. Miami's out here losing to Middle Tennessee State. North Carolina has no. Is Duke the best team in the Coastal?
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Duke's the only team that hasn't looked terrible.
They definitely have the better record.
Yeah. Duke.
Shut your stupid ass up. Say that, folks.
I'm telling you, Duke
And
blew out
Tennessee just scored another touchdown.
Yes, they did. I can't wait for Miami to play Duke. That's going to be
it's gonna be a good game.
We're not worried about Duke.
You better worry about Duke. Duke is.
I'm worried about Duke, and I'm a Clemson fan. You should be worried about me.
Yeah, Duke is.
We're not worried about Duke. We're just not worried about Duke.
TTY, y'all better pray Duke don't pull a miracle on y'all like y'all did to them a few years ago.
We're not worried about Duke. We're not.
Duke will mess around and win the Coastal. That'd be great.
Man, Duke will win the ACC championship.
Yeah, listen.
Duke versus Clemson. Ooh,
that's the one team from the Coastal we haven't.
I'm not worried about a Duke.
the Carolina Clash.
That you can't convince me to worry about Duke. I'm sorry. Kansas State, number 25 team in the country, 37-28 against Texas Tech. Texas Tech last week beat Texas, and then they come this week and lose. What is going on in the Big 12? Why is it so up and down?
That's how it is.
Big 12 runs through Kansas.
Yep, the state of Kansas.
The state of Kansas.
Henry Lee in the building. Boy, stop with your green ass. You back on that delusional shit. Ain't no shit changed since yesterday. Florida State. Henry Lee. Let's go back to Florida State. Henry Lee, y'all are ass, bro. Y'all are 100% ass. Y'all was ranked for 5 minutes. They literally had a stop clock on how long y'all was ranked for. Y'all was back last week. Oh, Florida State back. We're gonna win the ACC. We're gonna go to the Natty.
15-0.
15-0. Your fans was in here screaming 15-0. Oh, there he go right there. 15, Mr. 15-0 himself. 15-0. Now then, you let the Demon Deacons came down there and show y'all daddy. Show y'all who daddy is. Because I've even seen Florida State fans talking trash. Like, what's a Demon Deacon? What's a Demon Deacon?
I don't know why they were talking trash.
I still don't know.
They've lost to them 3 years in a row now. Like,
I try to tell Florida State fans, didn't you see them hang with Clemson? Went into overtime with Clemson, and Clemson barely got out of there. You are not Clemson. You were 10 times worse than Clemson. They're going to beat y'all. And I'm so pissed off at Wake Forest because they literally were supposed to put up 60 in that game.
Wake felt bad. Well, you saw them. Like I think they threw it like 6 times in the second half. Like they were running.
Yeah,
the ball.
They felt that bad for them.
They were running the clock out. It was they had already covered the spread.
At halftime, Wake got together. They huddled up and they said, "Listen, guys, if we beat them by 60, they're gonna fire Norville, and we ain't gonna get to enjoy beating them yearly. So let's slow it down a little bit. Let's play for the long run. You know, like Drake said, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. You know, yeah. You agree, ass troll. That shit don't surprise me no more. Them boys beat the brakes off y'all ass. Wake Forest had y'all boys putting on aprons and going in the kitchen cooking.
Wake the second best team in the ACC.
Man.
Crazy.
Now, I did a show during the game. During that game when they was playing or whatever, I did a watch party. Now, in there, I had a poll question in the chat. I asked all the fans, the next 3 games, what will Florida State record be? 3-0 to 0-3. I said 0-3. Everybody else says, oh, they're going 3-0. They're going to beat Wake, they're going to beat North Carolina State, and they're going to beat Clemson. I thought it was all delusional.
I think they might actually go 0-3 at this point.
Yeah.
But everybody voted. Everybody voted, and
they
on
might
top
sneak one against NC State, but I just don't see it yet.
On top at the end, with 34% of the votes was 3-0. Everybody said they was going to beat all 3 teams. Okay.
What scares me for Florida State is, their offensive line got, kind of pushed around by Wake Forest. Wake Forest defensive line, and NC State, has a good defensive line, and obviously Clemson has a good defensive line. I don't see how they're gonna block State or Clemson the next 2 weeks with the injuries they got on the offensive line and all that. I mean, that's gonna be tough because they have to go to NC State, and they historically they don't always play their best game in Raleigh, and then you got Clemson the next week, so that's a tough stretch.
All right, so the rest of the ACC that's not ranked, basically Louisville loses to Boston College, 34-33, 1-point loss. That was a tough matchup right there. North Carolina beats Virginia Tech, 41-10, convincing win for North Carolina. 5-0, Syracuse, 59-0 versus Wagner.
Y'all see that Syracuse they shortened the quarters for the second half.
Yeah, I think they shortened to 10 minutes. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's the first time I've seen that. I think
we FSU fans don't look to be undefeated this year like Miami delusional fans do every year. Y'all was talking ACC championship. Hold on a second. Henry Lee, you see this guy right here? I'm about to put him on the screen right now. You see him? You see this guy right here? He's been saying 15-0 ACC championship and national championship. He's a Florida State fan. He is one of yours. He's one of y'all. This guy right here.
Come get this man.
Middleton. He's been coming in here saying FSU going 15-0. So don't give me that bull crap about y'all ain't talking about undefeated. Your own fans is in here saying that. Now, speaking of fans, shout out to my boy Slim Shady Canes in the building. What's going on, Slim? Man, did you see Florida? Oh, yeah, Slim, you was in here when Florida State was getting their ass whooped. I think you was. Shout out to Wake Forest, them Deacon Deacons. All right. Duke handled Virginia 38-17.
I'm telling you, Duke
Virginia,
is like
Virginia
that.
Tech suck this year.
They do suck, but
It's
Duke
bad.
normally sucks, and now Duke is whooping up on they competing with good teams and blowing out the bad teams.
Like Duke, Kansas, and Syracuse forgot their basketball schools this year.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see Syracuse versus Florida State. I was giving Florida State a short run. I changed my mind.
That'd be a good game.
That's
gonna be a tough. That'll be a tough game.
Syracuse and Clemson. Could we see a repeat of? I think it was 2016.
Yeah, and Syracuse always give Clemson a good game. I don't know what is up.
That game's gonna be ugly.
Nah, it's not in the dome this year, so we're good.
Oh, okay.
We always struggle.
Y'all
We
might
always
win by
struggle up
3.
in the dome.
Let's shift over to the second best conference. The second best conference. Let's switch over to the second best conference, which is the SEC.
Look at the inferior Gamecocks beating on an HBCU.
Yep.
All right, Thursday night matchup. South Carolina handled business 50-10 against South Carolina State. Nothing to see there, folks. We already talked about the Georgia. We already talked about most of those games. Most of those games was ranked. Now LSU beats Auburn 21-17. Now,
I had two clients that bet $100 on this game. They wagered $100 between each other, and one of them lost.
So, as you guys know, there's a lot of controversy going down in Auburn with their head coach and the board of trustees, and them wanting to fire him. I think eventually we'll see in the upcoming days that he basically gets fired. It is what it is. I think their next matchup is Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. That's if I'm not mistaken. So I do believe that, if he loses that game, it won't be as terrible because, hey, it's Georgia. But Georgia is on the downslide. But they just don't like him. They wanted to get rid of him before the season started. They're looking for any kind of ammunition to fire him. So we might see him hop on the coaching carousel or whatever. We just recently seen Colorado. I think it's Colorado State that fired their head coach. We also see Wisconsin fired their head coach.
It was just Colorado.
Okay. So Colorado fired their head coach. We also seen Wisconsin fire their head coach.
Yeah. So,
all righty. So Auburn loses to LSU. LSU is 4-1. I still think that loss against Florida State was a fluke. If Florida State and LSU play right now, I will take LSU by 30.
You're probably not wrong. LSU looked like a different team. Has looked like a different team since that game. But
he said, "How old is that fan? I bet he a jitterbug like you." I don't know how old he is, but I like him. He come in here and say the most delusional stuff and make y'all fan base look bad. So I like him. Yesterday game, the Florida Gators beat Eastern Washington 52-17. I thought they were gonna beat them 52-10, but they let them get another touchdown. I was hoping it would have ended at 52-10 so I could make some Miami versus Florida State references and stuff like that, but it's okay. Florida handled business to improve to 3-2 on the season.
I'm disappointed in Eastern Washington. I thought they were going to keep it close.
All right, so Big 12. Let's talk Big 12. What went down outside of the top 25? Iowa State loses to Kansas 14-11.
Balling. Kansas.
They finally ranked Kansas
5-0. The basketball school is looking like a football school right now.
Mm-hmm.
5-0. West Virginia loses to Texas 38-20. West Virginia.
sucks.
The Mountaineers. The second best Mountaineers, because apparently App State is the best Mountaineer team. West Virginia is absolutely ass.
Yep.
Maybe West Virginia should try begging Rich Rodriguez to leave Jacksonville State and head back to West Virginia.
He ain't going back.
West
Though.
Virginia all season they've been making
not.
their plea. They've been making their plea to join the ACC. I don't think we need West Virginia in this conference at this moment. I don't think the ACC need a weaker, inferior team to join, along with Notre Dame. I mean, hey, Golden Blue,
Notre Dame is
out there,
bad.
man. That's my guy, but I don't think we want y'all in the ACC, bro. Y'all would be probably an easy matchup for everybody in the literally right now. You guys are a big disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. What a beat! Texas came out there and just handled business. All right, let's go into the Big Ten. The Big Ten. Let's see who all played outside of the top 25. All right, so of course Wisconsin got annihilated, 34-10, getting their head coach fired, improving to 4-1.
Illinois is a basketball school.
Wisconsin. Is there any hope for Wisconsin?
I mean, I don't know. They don't have no
I
offense.
don't know.
Yeah, I think they're going to.
Their offenses are just outdated. They don't have any like good quarterbacks to give them a passing game. They just try to pound it, but that doesn't work nowadays.
See now, Henry Lee, you sound like a delusional fan right now. Mario on the hot seat. Seriously, think about this, Henry Lee. Miami just signed Mario Cristobal to a 10-year deal. Why in the hell would he be on the hot seat in year one? We're not in the market of just giving money away. That's a
Florida State.
Florida State wouldn't even fire Norvell after going 3-6 and getting blown out, and then going 5-7, losing the JSU. They didn't fire Norvell. Why would we fire? Man, come on. You sound worse than the other fan now. All right, so Michigan State, man, after last year going nuts, going crazy, going bananas, giving Mel Tucker a big 10-year contract, almost 9 mil, 10 mil a year. They're 2-3 right now. They just lost to Maryland 23-13. What is going on at Michigan State? What is the problem?
They ain't got Trayvon Walker.
You think the problem is just one player?
He was their offense, and they had no defense.
No. It don't look too good for Michigan State at this point. They continue to lose the way they're losing, especially to the bottom feeders of the Big Ten. They might not be hanging around bowl season. But not gonna hop on that too long. Dan Enos at Maryland is putting up numbers. He's doing great, guys. That offense is clicking. Now, speaking of
somebody
coaches,
ain't shocked by that, just so you know.
So as you guys know, Nebraska fired their head coach Scott Frost. And
they're starting to win games again.
Not really. They just won one game. Since he's been fired, they only won one game, which is the game day before yesterday.
Well, they're probably going to win the next one.
Hey, Georgia Tech won a game after firing their coach, too.
Yeah.
Don't say that too loud, Slim. Next thing you know, fans going to want Mario fired so we can win the next game. You know how it goes.
I got a video coming about that, too.
Hey, man, when you drop it, let me know. I'll send some people over there. I'll direct them to you.
I appreciate it.
All right, so we talked about those two. All right, so Washington State beats Cal 28-9. I didn't watch that game. I didn't really see any highlights or anything on that one. What do you guys?
That game was way too late.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Pac-12. Us being on the east side, those games normally comes on for us 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. You know, people be done basically started drinking the 3:30 games. Well, some people the 12 o'clock games. And by the time, 11, 12 o'clock comes around, everybody's already knocked out, whether it's in the bed or on the sofa.
Yeah.
So, it's a tough deal for us. Now, over on the West Coast, that's a normal game for them. That's our 7:30 game for them. But, yeah. Arizona beats Colorado. Colorado is 0-5 on the season with a fired head coach. Arizona 43, Colorado 20. Fire their head coach.
Air Force is the best team in Colorado right now.
I think this offseason, the head coaching carousel is going to be crazy. I don't think this is the end of coaches being fired
right now.
I think right now the Auburn coach Harsin, he's on the hot seat, and probably a couple more coaches in the country.
Yeah.
Scott Satterfield at Louisville.
He will be run out with pitchforks and torches.
I mean, here's the thing, though. I don't know about Scott Satterfield. I know the fan base is tired of him, but with a lot of these coaches, you hear about it pretty much out of the university itself, too. But you're not hearing that about Satterfield from the university.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because it just knowing what he met with the university leadership before the season, and they to kind of give his what his expectations were for the program. So it's clear like they're expecting a lot of him this year, and they ain't getting it. They should, there's no excuse losing to Boston College in the state they're in right now.
Yeah,
Boston College is horrible. They have no offensive line. It's Phil Dracovic and Zay Flowers, and that's it on offense. And then on defense, they've taken a step back. So it's like, I mean, they're one of the worst teams in the conference, and Louisville got beat. And you're like, they're not going anywhere. It's like I don't even think they keep a lot of that recruiting class they put together. I mean, they'll keep some of it, but I think they could be on the verge of. And that's just me speculating, but it wouldn't surprise me if Louisville had some decommits coming.
All right, so
I'm not sure the administration's got a whole lot of expectations though, because they haven't.
That's not true. I know that. I know that's not true. They are frustrated. The administration expects a lot more from the football program than what they've been getting.
Now here's a question. To all the Auburn fans, I'm not sure if we have any Auburn fans that does watch the channel, but why do they think Mario Cristobal would leave Miami to go to Auburn? Why are their fans?
I don't know.
A delusion. It's a delusion.
He was just throwing that.
Auburn boosters know nothing about football. They just have little brother syndrome.
Yep.
I think that was one of the most delusional things I've seen. But we'll move on. Week 6, guys. Week 6. Top 25 teams. Just looking at the top 25 matchups. So Michigan versus Indiana. The line is 22 points. Michigan's the favorite. Over and under is 59. Who you guys going with? Also, I want you guys in the chat, put an M for Michigan, put an I for Indiana if you guys think – who you think going to win this game?
I think Michigan sleeps a bit. I think they win by 17.
That wouldn't surprise me, but Indiana's terrible. So I mean, I don't think Michigan's ever going. If that happens, they wouldn't be really like ever in it like close to losing.
I would think Michigan wins. I would think Michigan wins, covers, and I would take the over.
That's what
on
I
that,
think
to be
too.
honest with you. I mean, Michigan is one of the few teams that's literally played a complete game every single week.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, Maryland was a struggle, but I mean,
Jason says Michigan is going to roll.
Maryland's got a good offense, though.
They do, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Now, does it matter that?
And then you have Iowa. I mean, that's a top 10 defense.
Yeah, well, they played good. I mean, I wasn't knocking them for the Iowa, but thought they could have beaten Maryland by more. But other than that, it's not like they've played bad in any of the games they played. They've dominated, flat out dominated in some of them. So,
yeah.
Now, does it make any difference that this game is a home game for Indiana?
No.
No.
I don't really care. I mean, Indiana's home field advantage ain't anything special.
All right, so you got a top 25 matchup, SEC versus SEC.
I got Louisville.
Tennessee.
This is where Tennessee takes their first L.
Yeah.
Tennessee versus LSU, guys. Tennessee is actually 2.5-point favorite. This game is in Baton Rouge, so it's a home game for LSU. Over and under is sitting at 64. Who you guys going with? Let me know in the chat. Are you taking LSU or are you taking Tennessee? Put a T in the chat for Tennessee. Put an L for LSU. Well, dang.
I'm going to take Tennessee.
I say LSU.
I'm going to take Tennessee just because LSU's they're off. It seems like they only have one good quarter a game. It's like that. It's like they haven't really put together a complete performance yet, and I think they're going to need to keep up.
I know all the Florida State fans are hoping that LSU actually wins this game, so it can make their win against LSU seems more, amazing than it did. So
they haven't lost since then.
And just for that, I'm taking Tennessee. I'm taking Tennessee. I hope Tennessee whoop their ass by 30.
I could see this being very similar to the Tennessee-Florida game. I could see LSU, unrightfully so, hanging around closer than it should be.
Peanut says LSU. Matthew Walker says LSU did not look that good against Auburn.
No, they didn't.
Yeah. I'm taking Tennessee. I want Tennessee to win this game. Florida State, your win against LSU will not be validated.
Tennessee will win, but the game will be closer than it should be.
I'm telling you, LSU is going to find a way to show out in this game.
That is correct, VLC. FSU was overrated out of the gate. Absolutely agree with you 100%. All right, so TCU, another top 25 matchup, TCU versus Kansas. TCU is a favorite. Kansas is at home, over and under 67.5.
I got
TCU is a 7-point favorite.
I have to pick TCU.
Yeah.
I think after watching TCU beat Oklahoma the way that
I think TCU by 10.
I think they're going to come into this game all hype, and I think Kansas is going to catch them slipping and beat them by maybe 1 to 3 points, I want to say, somewhere in that area. I'm going Kansas. I'm going Kansas for the upset. I could be totally wrong, but I'm going with Kansas.
I don't even think it would be an upset, to be perfectly honest with you. TCU really isn't that good. I mean, that looks a lot worse than Oklahoma than anything. And Kansas is a good story.
I really do want Kansas to win, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't either.
You think they're?
I really do want them to win, but I just can't pick them.
Listen, man, I'm going with Cinderella. I'm taking the Cinderella.
That works for the group of 5. You know that.
I'm taking the Cinderella one on this one. All right.
Now, Kansas is definitely a Cinderella. They've been terrible.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so you got Arkansas versus Mississippi State.
Yeah, Mississippi
State at home, 8-point favorite, over and under 62. What you guys rolling with?
I'm so disappointed in Arkansas. I expected more out of them this offseason.
Like I said, all offseason, I've been listening to Josh Patay on the Late Kick Show talk about Arkansas. He convinced me that Arkansas was going to be good this year, and I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed.
I would just bet the over on this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take Mississippi State. I'm not going to take the 8 points. Mississippi State hasn't looked.
Give me a sec, guys. I got to do something real quick.
Yeah, I wouldn't take the 8 points though. I'll take Mississippi State for the win, but not with the 8 points.
Shit, I would against Arkansas, and especially with that offense. I mean, they can drop a 60 burger on people at any time.
Yeah, I'm just not convinced yet by Mississippi State. Now, they could go out there and prove me 100% wrong, but I'm just not convinced yet.
Old Sasquatch in that offense, you got to keep an eye on them.
Jason says, your first mistake was listening to Josh Pate. Yeah, Josh Pate actually predicted Florida State to win last week. I was so disappointed with him for that. I was so disappointed. He picked Florida State to win, and he actually put it on a ticket, on the Roman noodle ticket. So if anybody actually picked Florida State, he lost a lot of money.
I like Josh Pate too.
Yeah, I like that guy, man. I watch his show religiously. It's like
I like him because he won't let the BS fly. He'll give it like he sees it, and sometimes he's right and sometimes he's wrong.
Yeah, Josh watching Josh's channel, it's an inspiration, man. I like the way he took his show. I like the way the direction that it's going in. I listen to him. Now the other guy that's like out there, that's like over the edge, that's like literally has no filter is Brandon Walker. That dude is crazy, man. But did you hear what he said about Florida State and all them fans? All the fans wanted Mike Norvell to be fired, and now he's 4-0, and they all acting like, it's freaking daisies and dandy and all that. I got to start watching his show a little bit more.
As long as you don't listen to R.J. Young, you'll be all right. That dude wants to be Stephen A. Smith so bad it ain't even funny.
Yeah, I don't really watch R.J. Young. Sometimes I see his top 25s and his top 10s and shit, and I'm like, yeah, that shit's so off the wall. It's definitely screaming for attention. I'm good. How many games have Miami won? I'm confused. Well, stay confused, my friend. The what's that commercial? Stay thirsty, my friend. USF versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a 28-point favorite at home. Over and under is 59.5. I'm definitely going to take Cincinnati. Cincinnati is actually ranked again. They're back into the top 25 at number 24.
I got South Florida in an upset.
Okay.
Ooh, hot take.
That's all right. Now we'll revisit this next week. Next week the show will be back to Sunday, guys, instead of Monday. I only changed it to Monday because of the Florida game happened yesterday. Wanted to be able to, come on today instead of yesterday. I didn't want to do 2 streams. There you go, Matthew. Thank you for that. Over and under 50. Georgia is a 29.5-point favorite at home against Auburn. I think the 29.5 is a little bit too high right now. Watching Georgia play for the last 2 weeks, they could come out and actually smash Auburn and go back into, the Georgia mode in the first 3 weeks. But as of right now, I don't see the 29.5 point. I would actually take Auburn to cover. I could be totally wrong also, but this is one of those games that's going to get tricky. Are we going to see the Georgia that came out the first 3 weeks, or are we going to see the Georgia we saw the last 2 weeks?
Well, this isn't a new problem with Georgia covering the spread. I mean, they've been bad about covering spreads for years. So I wouldn't take them to cover it anyway.
Yeah, I think that's one of the games I'm going to stay away from betting-wise. Now I do think Georgia. If you're gonna bet straight up, you're not really gonna make no money because the betting line is gonna be like some ridiculous number where if you bet $100, you probably win like $4 or something. So, I'll stay away from that one. But I do think Georgia will come out with a win. They improved to 6-0. Auburn is just not that good. The last couple of weeks they've been just up and down. Texas Tech versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is a 9.5-point favorite, over and under 67.5. Oklahoma is at home. Oklahoma State, that is.
I got Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Oklahoma State also. Texas Tech. You go ahead, Slim.
I was just saying, Oklahoma State has looked dominant every week, but the very first game, and I'm willing to forgive, not looking great first game out the chute. So that's an easy Oklahoma State for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Oklahoma State. Top 25 matchup: Utah versus UCLA. UCLA ranked for the first time this season, 5-0. Utah, of course, with the loss to Florida in Week 1, they're 4-1. Utah is a 4.5-point favorite. UCLA is at home, over and under 64.5. 64. I'm sorry.
Give me Utah.
Yeah, UCLA, though, has got to go. Utah's looked good ever since that debacle in Gainesville.
I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to take UCLA.
The fighting Chip Kellys.
I think the momentum that they got off this win against Washington, I think they continue that now. I don't know how far it's going to go, but I think they'll continue it this week. Could be 100% wrong, but I'm gonna go with my gut on this one. I'm gonna take UCLA to improve to 6-0.
Hey, can't win if you don't take a risk, boss.
Yep. All right. So, Ohio State versus Michigan State. Ohio State is a 25.5 favorite. 63 is the over and under. This is a game that is a home game for Michigan State in East Lansing. I'm definitely gonna roll with the Buckeyes on this one.
Yeah, ain't nobody beating them in that division.
And I'm definitely gonna take them to cover that spread. I think Michigan State is on a downfall. I don't think they have the personnel to really match up against Ohio State's, especially those receivers.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this: Ohio State deserves to lose. I'm not in favor. I'm not in favor of taking cheap shots, but putting his punter in that position, he absolutely deserved it because you're up by 30-something odd points and you run a fake punt, and then you almost got your pudgy ass punched right in the face by Greg Schiano, which he should have done. I ain't got a problem running up the score. Running up the score is one thing if you got your, second, third stringers in. But when you run a fake punt up 30-plus points, you're just an asshole.
It be like that sometimes, man. Number 9 team in the country, 5-0, Ole Miss. Cupcake matchup, Vanderbilt.
Oh, my bad. Right.
Ole Miss is an 18.5-point favorite. Over and under is at 59. Vanderbilt is at home in Nashville.
Give me Vandy in the upset. They always upset teams every year.
Wow.
Normally, I would second that because it's,
is that Purdue? I'm taking Purdue.
Yeah, I can't. I'm about to say I can't name the last person Vanderbilt upset.
Yeah, I'm taking Purdue.
Yeah, normally I would agree with the controversial take, but not on this one. I think Ole Miss handled business. I think Lane Kiffin is on a mission to at least win 10 more games this season. So I'm going to roll with Ole Miss. I don't think this year will be the year for Ole Miss, but I think next year they will probably try to challenge Alabama. or even
Georgia.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Alabama. If they could get past Alabama next season, that'll be a huge accomplishment for them. I don't think they're quite there, but you know that'll be a good step into the future for Lane Kiffin. And then all the Miami fans.
Alabama this year.
Now, if that happened the way I predicted, all the Miami fans gonna go nuts because they're gonna be like, "Oh, we should have got Lane." Especially the ones that's been saying that in the comment section, we should have got Lane instead of Mario. They're gonna go crazy.
I don't see Lane wanting to go to Miami. That's my thing.
Oh, he wanted to.
Oh, he wanted to? Okay.
He wanted to. He already did. He made
Lane's-
that clear. He would.
Lane Kiffin, though, is one of those hires. Do you want the baggage that comes with Lane Kiffin?
Yeah.
I feel like he'll end up getting to fight one of those players, like straight up boxing match. Miami player.
All right, so Washington looks to bounce back against Arizona State. Washington is a 13.5-point favorite. Arizona State is at home. 58.5 is the over and under. Hey, Slim, did you see Nasty Nestor over there at Arizona State squirting water bottles?
I did a couple weeks ago, yeah, because I was watching the USC game.
Now, did you see him squirt that water bottle in that kid's face?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he squirted that water bottle in Caleb Williams' face on the sideline. It was making its round around Twitter. Let me see if I could actually show you guys the actual footage. Yeah, very despicable, to be honest with you. I'm sure he didn't learn that at Miami.
The nerve of some people.
Let me see. So what you guys think? Clemson versus Boston College. Who you guys rolling with? While I look up Mr. Sylvester.
Give me Boston College.
Mr. Silvera, I'm sorry. Why I call him Sylvester like he's Mr. Salone?
Why did he transfer from Miami? I thought the dude was a starter. He was a stud too.
Because he wasn't he wasn't producing.
Oh, he was? Oh, well, I didn't watch that. But just from what I've seen, he's good when he wants to be, I guess.
Yeah, but that's the key. It's when he wants to be. He don't always want to be.
Yeah.
And as far as that Clemson Boston College game, that game's liable to be over before halftime.
All right, so I didn't quite find the video.
Maybe it's on YouTube.
I didn't quite find the video, but I found the next best thing, the photo of it.
You didn't get ejected for that?
I'm not sure. I saw it the next day. I didn't look into it. But that was that right there. That's pretty much what he did.
Yeah.
Guy, and you know what's funny? The quarterback just played it off like nothing happened.
I mean, it probably was hard, but yeah, it's probably the best thing to do.
Oh, did you see a couple of weeks ago that BYU player pulled a Florida and chucked somebody's shoe downfield?
Oh, wow. No, I didn't see that. All right, so I think everybody's rolling with Clemson. I see a Clemson 42-10 in the chat. Of course, the Florida State guy picks Boston College. That's tough. I think Florida State just want any opponent that they beat, the teams that they do play against, for them to win so they can make themselves look a little bit better. I think that's what it is.
Well, that and basically at this point, Clemson, especially after this weekend, will really tell you here. If Florida State loses to NC State this weekend, Clemson's already locked up that division. Pretty much.
Yeah, Florida State definitely will lose. Washington State versus USC. USC is a 13.5-point favorite. A 13-point favorite at home. 66 is the over and under. I'm taking
Washington State.
I'm taking USC for the win. I don't think they covered it.
I have to go Washington State.
I'm gonna take USC. I don't think they cover that spread though.
Well, you may be right there, but especially against Oregon State, USC got exposed. They're not very good.
Yeah, well, we'll see, man. Lincoln Riley is looking like a genius right now. You got all the right pieces to go with him over there too. So, we'll see.
Not really. I mean, that transfer he got from, what was it, Pitt or West Virginia, that wide receiver, dude had like one catch against Oregon State. I mean, if it wasn't for Caleb Williams, they'd have lost that game. He was literally their whole offense.
All right, so Kentucky looking to bounce back against South Carolina this weekend. This is a home game for them at Kroger Field. 10.5 point favorite, over and under 49.5. Who you guys rolling with? You taking South Carolina for the upset, or you rolling with Kentucky, the Wildcats?
Rolling with Kentucky.
Kentucky can fuck up just as much as they did against Ole Miss, and they'd still win that game easily.
Yeah, I'm taking Kentucky for the win. Hopefully they can get it together. I just think South Carolina is just not a good team. All you South Carolina fans out there, the 1, 2, or 3 of y'all that watch the channel, your team is not good at all. They're terrible. Trash.
Shout out to Carolina Jackpot.
Shout out to Carolina Jackpot. That dude is hilarious.
He was mad when Clemson beat NC State.
If you want to see funny, you got to watch him when they're losing.
Oh, yeah. Watch his game reactions when they're losing. That is YouTube gold.
Also, do what Miss Helen says. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button on the video if you haven't already. If you're watching the stream on your phone, exit the chat, hit the like button, and click on the chat again, and you're right back in there. All right, Army versus Wake Forest. Wake Forest coming off of that tremendous win against Florida State. Absolutely great game to watch. If you're a Miami Hurricane fan that was listening to all the Florida State fans talk shit, that was a nice game to watch. It pretty much stopped all the chitter chatter from the Florida State fans talking about they were back. Wake Forest, 17-point favorite. 67.5 is the over and under. Of course, they're at home against Army. Number 15 team in the country right now. I got Wake Forest for the win.
Give me Army for the upset.
I think Wake wins it, but I always root for the service academies.
Yeah, I think Wake will win it too. I'm not quite sure if they'll cover that 17 points, but actually, I do think they'll cover that 17 points. Army's been terrible. I hate to say it.
Yeah, but here's the thing with that, though. Army runs that triple option, and that always gives teams fits that aren't used to it.
All right. So BYU, number 16 team in the country, 4-1 versus Notre Dame, 2-2. Notre Dame is actually the favorite in Nevada. They're playing in Las Vegas, guys. Notre Dame is a 3.5 point favorite. Over and under is 52. Who you guys rolling with? BYU or Notre Dame?
Notre Dame.
Now, if we was choosing between the mascots, I would definitely take BYU. I saw him doing some push-ups on like double, triple stack tables. Got to the top and did some one-hand push-ups. I'm rolling with BYU. The bicycle school, like to say.
Give me the Mormons in the Holy War.
Yeah, I'll take the Mormons in this one. We're rolling with the bicycle school. Wait, what? Let's say I got 50 on Miami. Win by 13 and up. Oh, snap. There y'all go. If y'all want to bet against Norse, he's taking Miami for the win against North Carolina. Miami wins by 13 and up. Man, enthusiastic. I ain't going to lie. You got more confident than me right now. Number 20, Kansas versus Iowa State. Kansas is a 2-point favorite. Iowa is at home. Over and under is 45.5. Who you guys rolling with?
The Kansas Ohio State game?
Yeah, Kansas State versus Iowa State.
Yeah, give me Kansas State.
Where's it at?
Iowa. It's in Iowa. You dropping off, Slim. You might be on a bad spot.
That better?
Yeah. Now we hear you.
I said, give me Iowa State. Weird things happen there. That's a hard place to go win for some reason.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Iowa State too for the upset. They're at home. Kansas State. I don't think they continue winning as much as they do, but I just don't see it. Alabama versus Texas A&M. The Crimson Tide is a 24-point favorite. Over and under is 51. It is in Tuscaloosa. Alabama 5-0. Texas A&M 3-2. Who you guys rolling with?
Bama.
Let me know in the chat who you guys taking. You taking Alabama or you taking Texas A&M?
I want to say Alabama, but from the looks of it, we already know they ain't got no wide receivers, but from the looks of it, they ain't got a quarterback now either.
Yeah, Bryce Young did go down. Now, the extent of that injury, I have no idea whether or not he'll be playing, but I'm definitely going to go with the upset and take Texas A&M, even though Texas A&M haven't looked that great this year. I just got a gut feeling that Texas A&M is going to pull this off, and we're going to be looking at this like, how the hell did this happen?
A&M has had a good defense this year.
I just think Jimbo Fisher delusional self will find some kind of way to win this game.
Yeah, they got a good defensive line. They just got another number one defensive lineman, so they're stacked at defensive line.
And that's the thing. Alabama's not going to be able to do anything but run right into the teeth of that D-line.
Their receivers aren't that good this year for some reason.
Upset alert, Texas A&M 31, Alabama 27. Now, if Texas A&M upset them, I don't see Texas A&M putting up 30. I don't see their offense putting up that much points. Their offense has not been,
It'd be a low-scoring game, I think.
Yeah, because Alabama's defense is playing really good, too.
Yeah.
Bama is going to beat the brakes off Texas A&M, even with some backups. Saban is going to try to win by 100 after last year, and then their beef this offseason. Yeah, this is going to be – I think Jimbo kind of messed this up. Because had Jimbo won the last two games and, their offense was clicking or whatever, this would have been the matchup of the week. This was the most anticipated game going into the season, coming out the offseason, until Texas A&M showed all their woes and lost to App State or whatever. But this still is going to be interesting to watch. I'm definitely going to keep an eye out on that one to see if Jimbo could actually come out here and beat Alabama with all the woes and mishaps that's been going on. That's going to be interesting, man.
Here's the thing. If Jimbo wasn't so damn hard-headed, Texas A&M would be doing better. But, I mean, he's stuck in that 2013 offense that just ain't cutting it anymore.
Now, that I totally agree with you. Press conference after Jimbo losing will be comedy gold.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be. Now, if Jimbo pull it off, Nick Saban's going to be doing a whole lot of crying in them press conference. Going to be doing a whole lot of crying. All right,
Jimbo be talking cash shit, too.
Now, I think the people in Vegas are real disrespectful. I think they're super disrespectful. I think they utterly do not care for the Wolfpack because they got NC State as a 3.5-point favorite at home against Florida State. Over and under is at 52. I think they absolutely selling NC State wrong in this game. Ain't no way. Ain't no way that the spread should be only 3.5. It should be 30.5. This makes no Vegas. Why? This is easy money right here. Take NC State and lay the points. They're gonna beat Florida State by 30. Does anybody see Florida State going into NC State and winning this game?
I won't be surprised. It wouldn't shock me if they won.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me.
It would definitely shock me. I probably would catch a heart attack and go to the hospital if Florida State win this game.
I mean, there is something to be said for, is Florida State going to let Wake Forest beat them twice? And that's a very real possibility with the way this team's played over the last few years and how high they were riding, starting off 4-0.
I see Matthew Walker's the only smart guy in the chat right now. He says NC State for the win. Oh, man. FSU Rose's and I think he got the same kind of concussion that Tua did because he says FSU by 10. Yeah, I'm taking NC State for the
I see this being a close game.
Yeah.
I don't see it being
I mean,
close.
NC State does have the better quarterback. I'll give them that.
If Florida State has showed me anything, their defense is going to come out slow, get smacked in the mouth. They'll fight back, and then they'll lose in the end. That's all I've seen from them. I'm taking NC State for the win, giving Florida State their second ACC loss and possibly kicking them out of the ACC Coastal Division battle or whatever it is. And then they'll go downhill from there because they'll lose the next week to Clemson. And their fans will turn on Mike Norvell. And then, we'll have a sweet old holly golly jolly time over here laughing at them.
Boy, how bad are Florida State fans going to be if they lose 3 in a row?
I mean, ask Rose. He says we're not losing back-to-back games. I think you're going to lose back-to-back. I think you're going to lose. I'm thinking this game is going to be like Drake. You're going to lose. You're going to lose back-to-back. Got the crowd with me going back-to-back. I'm going back-to-back. Oregon versus Arizona. I'm just going to take Oregon. Oregon's a 13-point favorite. Over and under is at 70.5.
Yeah.
Oregon's looked good ever since week 1.
Yeah, they have.
I think to even determine the over and under, I would have to look at points and yardage and everything given up by both teams to even make that determination.
Yeah,
I'll definitely take Oregon for the win, though, on the money line. That over and under, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's next week or the week after, but there's a game I guarantee you a sure bet is the over because North Carolina and Wake Forest are playing each other. If the over for that game ain't 150, I'm betting the over. Both of them might drop 70.
All right, so points per game. Oregon is at 40. Arizona is at 32. Points allowed for Oregon is 30 and Arizona 31. So I think that's why it's so close like that. That's why the spread's so high because both teams can give up points but I think Oregon's zone is overflated because of the loss against Georgia in week 1 where they gave up like 49 points. So that could be misleading. I'll stay away from the 70, the over and under. I'll just take Oregon straight up win. All right, so this week, ACC matchups. Let's get into it. Miami versus North Carolina. Miami versus North Carolina. Let me know in the chat who you guys got. Miami versus North Carolina.
Well, I want to know how the hell Miami's favored.
We're at home.
I ain't even gonna lie.
Oh man.
I hate to do it to y'all. I got North Carolina win. Depends on if y'all show up or not.
This guy, this green ass guy hasn't said nothing about Miami. Sorry, asked the whole show. Well, we're talking about Miami now here, really, and we're gonna win this game. Since you here, I weren't gonna say whether we're gonna win or lose, but since you here, we winning this game. God damn it! How about that?
Well, to me, it's going to come down to which defense do you trust more to make one stop.
I trust Miami more.
Yeah, because North Carolina's defense is so bad, they made Notre Dame look like an elite offense.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Miami. I'm actually take us to win by 7. The over and the point spread is 4. I'm actually take Miami to win this game by 7. And I might be overthinking, but I think we might actually win this game by a lot more than we actually think. But with
it wouldn't surprise me because the defense has played, and that's been the most consistent unit this year. The offense is going to look good because North Carolina's defense is that bad. And the defense has played most consistent this year. So, I mean, if they don't have their head up their ass, they can manage a few stops.
Mm-hmm. I think Miami's going to surprise us this week. I know a lot of the fans are down, rightfully so. We lost to Middle Tennessee. But I actually think we're going to pull this one off. Probably we're probably going to score more than people actually think. Hopefully we don't have any.
Get it straight. Y'all are down on Miami. I'm not.
Hopefully we don't have any miscues on, the offense or the defense this week. Hopefully Tyler Van Dyke come back out there and, play like he played last season. 3 touchdowns, 300-yard games, and, get back in the groove. Everybody know I favor Jake Garcia, but I actually want Tyler Van Dyke to actually, finish this season on a high note. That way he could get drafted and, the quarterback room could keep cycling itself. I don't want him to struggle the rest of the year and then he has to come back next season. Now, I wanted to continue to move. So hopefully he has a great year. Hopefully this weekend be the start of, that confident Tyler that we used to see. But, push comes to shove, Jay Garcia is not a bad backup.
It's the perfect opponent to give your offense some confidence. It really is.
I'm gonna take Miami to win. I'm gonna take the points, and it is what it is. Hopefully, I'm not
Even though
wrong.
he ain't saying nothing, I know Jordan Bowman would pick North Carolina in this.
I think he picked them earlier. He picked Miami earlier.
Really? I ain't gonna lie. I figured Jordan would have picked North Carolina.
Now Drake Mayo is looking good. Drake Mayonnaise, he is looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you were talking about coaches on the hot seat a little while ago. I've heard from several North Carolina fans they're about fed up with Mac Brown.
Yeah, hey, he could join the list of coaches getting fired this year. Herm Edwards, Scott Frost, the guy up there, Paul Chris or whatever Paul his name is at Wisconsin, the Georgia Tech guy.
I said when they hired Mac Brown, I said they're bringing him in just to set North Carolina up for the next guy, because Mac Brown's about 4 days older than dirt. He ain't staying long, and he has done that. He's recruited better than North Carolina's probably ever recruited in football.
Yeah. It's going to be tough, but what I am looking forward to see is which one of Miami's wide receivers is going to step it up this week.
Frank Ladson.
I think all eyes is going to be on Frank Ladson and Brashard Smith and Keyshawn Smith. Brashard too.
Frank Ladson's been consistent this whole year. I mean, he catches the majority of them that are thrown his way.
Now, if we can't establish the run, then this game might be, a drag for us because we're not that great at passing the ball right now.
I mean, how healthy are the running backs? That's the question.
Yeah, right now we have no updates on Jalen Knighton or on Henry Parrish. I think we're looking at Tad Frank. He'll be running. And
when was Don Chaney supposed to be cleared to come back?
Probably another 4 or 5 weeks.
Damn, so, I hate it.
Yeah. So with that, we'll have the guy Lucius Stanley, the transfer that just came in not too long ago. So he'll get some snaps too. And we might even see Walden, there it is. Terrell Walden. We might get to see some of him too. So this running back room is kind of depleted. So running back room's kind of depleted. So is the wide receivers, and that's why I'm not coming down too hard on Miami. If we start losing some of these games, or we start getting into dog fights with teams that we should, normally be highly favored against, because this team is right now we're depleted. We're depleted in a lot of areas. But as long as the offensive line continue to, get better weekly, I think we'll be fine. I just want to see the adjustments made defensively coming out of this bye week. Yeah, we got so many injuries right now. It's crazy. Tariq Stevenson, couple more guys.
Hopefully. Leonard out. What's his name? Leonard Forte. Is he out?
Who?
The number 56 from Miami.
Leonard Taylor.
Oh, Taylor. Yeah, I'm thinking.
I think Taylor. I think he should be fine. I think he'll be playing.
I think he's a first-round pick for him hearing already.
I'm trying to go to that game. Hopefully, it's not similar results to last time. Man, that'll be terrible.
Nah, I don't think it will be.
Yeah, hopefully not. But Louisville versus Virginia. Both teams coming into this game 2-3. Louisville is a 3.5-point favorite. Virginia is at home. Virginia coming off a loss to Duke. I'm definitely going to take Louisville, even though they're coming off a loss to Boston College. Let me know in the chat, who you guys taking? Are you taking Louisville or Virginia? I think this is going to be like a battle of the unwanted. That's gonna be a garbage game. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I think Louisville win though.
Nose just sucks. Absolutely, man. That makes total sense. That's the best comment. That's the best comment tonight. Florida State sucks. I totally agree with you. Virginia Tech versus Pitt. Pitt at home, 14.5-point favorite. Over and under is 44. This is one of those other. This is going to be one of those matchups too. Trash versus trash. I'm gonna take Pitt for the hell of it. They're home. Virginia Tech look like total trash. I mean, NC State North Carolina just beat them like 42-10. I'll roll with Pitt.
Yeah, but Pitt just lost to Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's one of those garbage matchups that you just gotta pick. You gotta flip a coin on this. Give me a coin. What? I ain't got no coins in here. Oh, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna take Pitt. I'm gonna roll with Pitt. So they like that the pool just suck.
How I picked that damn game too.
So you got Duke versus Georgia Tech. Duke is a 3-point favorite. Georgia Tech is at home. Over and under is at 53.5. I'm gonna actually take Duke on this one. No. You know what? I'm going Georgia Tech. I'm gonna take Georgia Tech to upset Duke. I'm gonna take Georgia Tech to upset Duke. Duke's been doing great, but I feel like good things don't last forever. I think they're gonna get upset this week by Georgia Tech.
Well, Duke just lost a couple weeks ago to Kansas too, so
yeah, but they didn't look too bad losing to Kansas. But
no, that's why I might have to go with Duke.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Duke. I'm gonna roll with Georgia Tech for the upset. I'm gonna stick to it. Georgia Tech for the upset. We already talked about Clemson, Boston College, Wake, and we already talked about Florida State losing by 30. All right. Let's go into the. Did we do the SEC yet? Nope.
Yeah.
Let's take the SEC route. So we already did that matchup. All right, Missouri versus Florida. Florida is at home in Gainesville. Florida is an 11-point favorite. Over and under is 54.5. I'm taking Missouri for the win. I'm taking Missouri by 10. I think they'll cover the spread. I'm taking Missouri for the win. Missouri by 10. What do you think, Slim?
I think it would just be funny to see Florida lose. And actually, to be honest with you, since they joined the SEC, Missouri's kind of had Florida's number.
Yeah, I'm taking
so give me Missouri.
Especially seeing that performance they put on against Georgia. I mean, they couldn't quite turn those field goals into touchdowns, but I'll definitely take them over Florida. I think don't get Florida's win over Eastern Washington, mixed up in anything. That was a cupcake game. They were supposed to do that. They were supposed to do what they did. That was an inferior opponent. I take Missouri for the win. Florida will be 3-3. Missouri will be 3-3. Both of them will be bottom of the East. Right there next to Vanderbilt.
A lot of people had that game marked down as who's going to be the second worst team in the East.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking Missouri. I think Missouri showed more fight this week against Georgia. I don't think Florida would have kept it that close.
I mean, Anthony Richardson actually looked like a quarterback against Tennessee, though.
Yeah, other than the Florida.
Before that Tennessee game, Anthony Richardson had as many passing touchdowns as me.
Oh man. It says Missouri 34, UF 12.
Damn.
I'll take that.
Damn.
I'll take that. Florida fans would not
bad, but
damn. They would absolutely hate me if that happens. They would actually be in the comment section of that video telling me how bad we lost to Middle Tennessee, and I'll be like, I don't care. But I'll take Missouri for the hell of it. Let's go into the Big Ten for this week's matchup. The ones that's not in the top 25. Here's a bottom feeder game. Nebraska versus Rutgers. Nebraska is a 3-point favorite. Rutgers at home. Over and under is at 51. I'm going to actually take Nebraska on this one. I think they go in there and get the win. I'll definitely take them by 3.
Man, give me Rutgers. They're Rutgers in the Ohio State game.
Yeah, I just don't think Rutgers got the juice. They can't convince me after watching them play Temple. I'm gonna take Nebraska for the win, for their third win on the season and back-to-back wins. We already talked about that one. Maryland versus Purdue. Maryland at home, 3-point favorite. Over and under is 59. Purdue, man, it's hard to go against Purdue. Every time I bet against Purdue, I lose. Every time I bet that they win, I lose. I'm gonna roll with Danny. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Danny Enos and Maryland on this one. Maryland for the win.
Making that Miami fan base look foolish.
All right, so Northwestern versus Wisconsin. Wisconsin at home. Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. Northwestern at home. Wisconsin is a 10-point favorite. I'm gonna actually take Northwestern for the upset.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, with Wisconsin just firing their head coach.
Northwestern's a one-win team.
I still think they'll, pull the upset. It's funny how that one win is against Nebraska that ultimately helped get fired.
Yeah, but look at a lot of these teams. They firing their coaches and they win. Give me Wisconsin.
Yeah, I just got a feeling that Northwestern's going to pull it, but I wouldn't be surprised Wisconsin beat them by a lot more than 10, but we'll see. Already talked about that one. Iowa versus Illinois. Illinois at home, and they're a 3.5-point favorite. I'm taking Iowa for the upset in this one. Over and under is at 35.5. I don't believe in Illinois. They're 4-1, but I actually watched them play, especially that game when they played against Indiana. I don't trust that team. Iowa's losses came to tough opponents, but Illinois, I don't trust them. I'm taking Iowa for the upset.
Yeah, and take the under too.
Yeah, you think it's going to be a low scoring?
Shit, Iowa doesn't have an offense. I mean, don't forget, it wasn't like week 2. Iowa's deep.
Yeah, we lost you, Slim. Oh, there you go.
I said no. Iowa ain't got no offense. It was week 2 or 3. It may have been week 1. I don't know. But Iowa's defense put up more points than offense did, and they only put up 4.
Yeah, I just got a good feeling that I was gonna pull this one off. I don't know. I could be wrong. I just got a good feeling. Let's go into the Big 12 this weekend. Let's see what they got going on, what they got brewing over there in the Big 12.
Oklahoma fans about ready to commit suicide.
They're in Dallas, Texas, in the Cotton Bowl versus now Texas is a 7-point favorite. Over and under is at 65. I think Texas will pull it off. I think they'll pull it off this year. Oklahoma has shown that they're vulnerable right now. I think Texas will finally take advantage of it.
Yeah, and I think Oklahoma's quarterback's out, if I'm not mistaken, and Texas should have Quinn Ewers back.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Texas now. If I see that Oklahoma actually blows out Texas, I wouldn't say I'm surprised either. Yeah, because Texas is one of those teams. 1 week they're hot, and then the next week they're not.
Yeah, they played Alabama close and then lost to Texas Tech.
All right, so I think that's pretty much for those. Let's go into the Pac-12 for this upcoming week. Matchups that's not in the top 25. Okay, Stanford versus Oregon State. Oregon State is a 7-point favorite. Stanford's at home. And over and under is at 55.5.
Give me Oregon State.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go with them on this one. Oregon State, 7.5. I don't know too much about both of these teams, and plus it's a 11 o'clock game. I'm not gonna sit there and watch that one.
Well, Stanford's absolutely terrible, and Oregon State, they're better than they have been, and they've played people a lot closer than what folks were suspecting they would. Like I said, if it wasn't for Caleb Williams, USC would have lost to him.
Lador says Iowa and FSU the same team. Iowa and FSU the same team.
Now, don't disrespect Iowa like that. They've actually got a top 10 defense.
Man, I think Iowa will probably get back in the top 10, but in the top 25 before Florida State does. Florida State got two losses coming straight. And if Georgia Tech get a little bit more momentum, they might lose to Georgia Tech too.
Bruh, I ain't even gonna lie. YouTube gonna be funny as hell if Florida State loses 3 in a row. They're gonna be right back to fire Mike Norvell.
If they lose to those 3 games, well, they're gonna be 4 in a row because they're gonna lose to Miami too. If they went 4-0 and then just dropped all these games at the end, man.
And then lose 4 in a row, man, Pope gonna be on suicide watch.
They will run Mike Norvell by the time. Yeah. All right, well, I think that's all the matchups. I think we covered all the Power 5 teams, all the predictions and everything like that. NFL tonight, let's see what's going on. Let's see what my Rams is doing. Hopefully they ain't losing. I haven't checked on that game all night. You know. Oh, they
Shout
are
out to
losing.
my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Told you.
Yeah, we're losing 7 to. Oh, we're actually in the red zone right now. We're in good place. We're in good place. We're 1st and 10 at San Francisco's 20, according to this. I am gonna go watch this game. You said Rams by 28. I don't know about that, Lenore. I don't know about that. Canes Talk, you say drop the link. Canes Talk, Canes Football Talk, you're a little too late, my guy. We about to shut this thing down. We already ran through all the college football games that happened over the weekend and the ones that's coming up right now. I'm about to go watch this NFL game. So appreciate everybody that came through. Appreciate everybody that hit the like button. Everybody that got in the chat. And that's about it. So good night, folks. Go Canes. Miami will win against North Carolina this weekend, hopefully. I'm praying. If we don't, then that's tough.